What up, reader fam? Today we're gonna be talking about something really serious. Something really terrible and emotional I've been facing recently. It's not gonna be easy to talk about, but it's something I really need to get off my shelf. Today I'm gonna be talking about what it's like to be a mood reader. Now, I'm not talking about those people who just walk into a room and are like, yo, someone in here is sad. Raise your hand if you're sad. I'm talking about my state of mind affecting the books that I gravitate towards. If you're happy, mad, sad, glad, frustrated, annoyed, ticked off, and these things affect your reading, clap your hands. I consider myself to be a mood reader, and I find myself constantly frustrated with myself for being one. I mean, it can be fun, it can be wild, but it can also be frustration station. You literally hop around like a kangaroo from book to book, and that reader whiplash it causes is trash. My neck can't handle it much longer. I really wish that I could get a book mood ring that I could pop onto my hand and it would just direct me to my next read. Read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Again? If you insist. Us mood readers are not like other readers.
I'm just not like other readers.
Did I really just use the I'm not like other insert word here trope? I'll give myself a list of books that I want to read in a month, and I will share that with you guys in video form. And 3 days into reading the books on that list, I don't feel like reading any of them. And I've already rearranged the list, ditched a few books, and added a few more. How does that excitement for certain books disappear so quickly? It only takes like 3 days, and I'm like, nah, this list doesn't feel right. Sounds like somebody has commitment issues. But do I keep making those to be read videos? Bet you bottom dollar I do. Then there's this like constant cycle that I get into. Start book, get pretty deep into said book, decide you're not feeling that book, ditch book for a different book, and repeat. So then I have all these books lying around and I'm halfway through most of them. I always get really nervous when I get to those books that I've left behind. I'm like, will I remember the first chunk of this book that I've read? I always have a little dance party when I realize that I've taken detailed notes. And then there's those books when I realize I haven't taken any notes at all and I'm like, this little cycle that I get caught up in does a number on me. It begins to make me think that I hate every book ever because I can't push myself to the ending. When that's not the case at all. It's me, not the book. It's like that whole it's me, not you breakup cliche. I'm sorry to have to do this to you, but trust me, it's me, not you. Being a mood reader does not help the overall is minimization the word? Minimization of your TBR pile. If anything, it causes a growth spurt. Like your stack goes from toddler size to teenager size real quick. This can be a good thing, but it can also be a not so good thing. It really depends on the perspective here. I try to just look at it as a library. And now I have a stack of unread books for whatever my mood desires. So then there's that moment every few months on Bookternet when a book is blowing up. Everyone is reading a book and loving it and shoving it in your face. You can't go on YouTube without seeing a new gush fest over it. People are creating stan accounts for the book on Twitter. Your Instagram feed is full of pictures making the book look even more beautiful than it actually is. Everyone's talking about it and you want to be a part of that. You don't want to miss out on that fandomonium. You impulse buy the book and then you're instantly filled with regret because it arrives and you realize you're not in the mood to read it. It's just gonna sit there on your shelf collecting some dusties. Speaking of new releases, when a book comes out that you are highly anticipating, specifically a sequel, you've waited out that long year it takes for a sequel to pop out into the world. The ending of the first book ended on a cliffhanger and you need that sequel because you are crushed. And the only way you're going to be able to put yourself back together again is if you have that sequel. But it releases, and guess what? You're just not feeling it. It just has to come out at a time when I don't feel like reading it. I call sabotage. I try to get myself to read it, I force myself to read the first section, and I just can't do it. But it's just not happening, the vibe has died, and I have to wait for it to be revived. It's like going to an amusement park, expecting all the rides to be open and running. You get there, everything is shut down, and everything sucks. You want to get on the book ride and scream your shookethness at the book, but you can't. It's just not happening. A really stupid thing that I've done is seeing a book cover and being like, oh, that book looks like a super happy book. Because that's what the cover art is selling. It's got all these nice happy colors on it. It's got yellows and blues and it just feels happy, you know? But then I started reading it and realized it was a super sad book. It's not the kind of book I was wanting to read. I wanted that happy-go-lucky feeling when I was reading. With happy characters and a happy story and all I got was sad trash. I guess this is why I shouldn't judge books by their covers. Note to everyone ever, if a book cover looks like it's going to be happy, it's most likely not going to be happy. It's going to be sad and it's going to crush you. You all probably know this already by now though because you guys are smart. I'm not. I still fall for those happy looking book covers. Another sucky thing is when a friend recommends you a book and you genuinely do want to read that book, but you have no idea when you'll get around to it because you don't know when you'll be in the mood to read it. And every time you see that friend, they ask you about it. Have you read it yet? No. Have you read it now? No. What about now? Still no. It gets to a point where you just want to start avoiding that friend so you don't have to have the talk again. I mean, that's a pretty dramatic approach. I don't think you should have to cut off a friendship just because you're not sure when you're gonna read their favorite book. Maybe don't sacrifice a friendship just because you're tired of being asked about it. The worst though is when you tell them that you've started reading it, which you should never do that, because when you tell them that is when your mood's gonna be like, nope, we're gonna read something different now. And that friend keeps pestering you for your thoughts. And you're just like, I'm still working on it, buddy. And for the next 2 years of your lives, every time you see them, you're just like, still working on it, still working on it, still working on it. Wait, I know that I said that was worse, but actually what's even more worse than that is when they lend you the book and you end up holding their book hostage for years. Thankfully that hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm sure it's happened to some of you guys. The last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to being a mood reader is that fear and hesitation we have every time we end up starting a new book. Because we know there's that chance that we'll get deep into it and it's going to end up being set aside for another book. Because that's just how it goes. So that's what it's like being a mood reader. It's really moody. I want to hear from you guys down below in the comments. What kind of reader are you? Are you a mood reader like me? Or are you able to have more structure when it comes to your reading life? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I post videos frequently on this channel, so if you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe, or go and click the little bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye, chew.